Hello friends, this is Maxi Gorov and you're watching the second part of the series of short videos on my successful attempt to colonize a totally wild and secluded place. You're looking at the Russian forest where such hot weather is not common. In the summer it is fairly warm and never gets dark. You might have heard about white nights in St. Petersburg. We are approximately 300 kilometers north of it, which is about 200 miles. The rest of the year, the weather here is very harsh. That's why building a reliable shelter is a must. I decided to build my log cabin without chopping down a single live tree. A lot of the tall trees here were down by a severe storm a few years ago, so I decided to reclaim those extra thick logs for my cabin's construction. I chose a round notch, also known as a saddle cope, to join logs in my cabin. I used a piece of charcoal to lay out the log joint because it could draw well on the wet log. Most of the material was removed with a chainsaw and a small pry bar, and then I finished shaping the notch with the hand adze. I used my finish, axe and adze to make the longitudinal grooves. According to the construction code in Russia, the longitudinal groove should be half the width of the top log's diameter. That will make your log cabin more energy efficient. The downside to strictly following this code, it will take more logs and more work to build the same size cabin. While fitting the logs, I had to move a heavy log back and forth. It was easy to do using a pry bar and a strap loop. My seemingly unwise decision to carry a heavy pry bar strapped to my backpack while getting to my campsite on foot paid off. It became an important tool in my cabin's construction. Another tool that I was glad I brought with me was my homemade draw shave that I forged from a railroad pad. I was able to easily debark and smoothen the wet logs using the draw shave. I also used it to do the finishing touches on the log butts, which made the cabin look more refined. I filled the grooves with moss for better insulation. This is my first experience in laying logs, and things were not going very smoothly in the beginning. However, it turned out to be an enjoyable and comparatively simple experience. To make my cabin stronger, I used square wooden stakes to secure each log's layer. It is a bit ironic, but this is what old carpenters used to do. They hammered square wooden stakes into pre-drilled round holes. Go figure. I think it is done because it's easier to make a square wooden stake than a dowel. Anyhow, I couldn't come up with a better explanation on that strange classical practice. If you know other reasons why the wooden stakes are made square, please let me know in the comment section. Lastly, it is important to trim the wooden stake a little below the level of the log, so it wouldn't stick out when the log dries out and shrinks in its diameter. I want to show you two panoramic sceneries of the same place. Even large animals couldn't get through before I cut passages with my chainsaw. As you can see, this small piece of land looks quite different from now. However, right outside of my camp, the forest is littered with tall fallen trees that are just rotting. If I didn't run other projects at the same time, such as making kayaks from branches with tarp or clear plastic skin, making a dome from branches and plastic wrap, making canopies, hammocks, primitive sawmill, as well as fishing and mushrooming, I probably would have finished my log cabin by the end of my 1-month vacation. In reality, I will have to come back here next year. If you liked the video, perhaps you could share it with your friends. Let good people watch good videos. This is Maxi Gorov. P.S. I wanted to thank you everybody who contributed great ideas on what to do with my stumps in the previous episode.